Good evening, good evening, good evening. Good evening, everybody. We're waiting for a bit so that more persons will join us. So once more people joining, we'll start the conversation for this evening. Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. How are you guys doing? I hope that we're fine. How was the week? It's going to be another amazing time, learning, unlearning, relearning, right? So, okay. Let's wait till it's 9. I think it's 9 on the dot, so we're going to just start. We're going to just start. Okay. Welcome, everybody. Good evening. My name is Sunshine Shikezi, and I do a lot of things. Aside from being a broadcast journalist, I am also interested in the personal growth and development of young people. So that's why I focus majorly on teaching people, number one, how to discover themselves. Number two, how to develop themselves. Personal development is very important. And then number three, how to discover your purpose. Three important things that can help anybody thrive in life, become something in life. I used to always say that life is for the living. And when we're talking about living, it means, living your life to the fullest, making sure that you die empty, making sure that you give out, everything that you need to give out to, better humanity before you leave here. And for you to be able to achieve that, the first thing that you need to do as a human being is to discover yourself. The second thing that you need to do is to develop yourself. And the third thing that you need to do is to understand what you're here for. And that's where purpose discovery comes in. All right. So that's what this series is all about. We meet here every Saturday at 9 p.m. to just basically have conversations. I had a very hectic day today. Very, very hectic day today. I also have teenagers that I mentor. So we had a session and I came in not too long and I decided, okay, you know what? When my PA reminded me, I said, okay, let's do this. All right. So we're going to start with just running through the what we had last week, just a recap and a summary. I think some persons just joined in now. Hello, thank you for joining. If you can say your name in the chat box and just say hi so that I can recognize that you're here, I would appreciate that. Thank you so much. And please do not forget to subscribe and also like the live stream. So like I was saying, we started out last week with self-discovery. That's what we started out with last week. And it was a fantastic time talking about, who we are, understanding who we are as a people. We talked about how that personal for anyone who wants to start out, personal development, the first thing that you need to do is to discover yourself, discover who you are, understanding yourself just beyond the name label. So we talked about it and we gave examples how that several other persons in the world are also bearing your name. So self-discovery is actually beyond just names. All right. And we went forward to talk about how that self-discovery involves a lot of reflection. You need to sit down and sit with yourself, ask yourself very, very important questions and think. It's by doing that you will get the answers that you seek, because all of the answers that we seek, most of the time, it lies within. The problem is that we don't even have time to sit with ourselves and ask ourselves questions. We're either scrolling, we're either busy doing one thing or the other, all right? So we talked about self-reflection a lot, and I think we gave that assignment, and I hope that we did it, because I did a recap, and I sent emails also last week, and I gave an assignment, and I said for us to sit with ourselves and reflect, sit with yourself, ask yourself very important questions, and get the answers that you need so that you can walk with it. Because I mean, self-discovery lies a lot, in self-reflection. So we talked about that. We talked about the importance of self-discovery, and we talked about how that, it builds confidence. That's one thing that we talked about, because I mean, when you understand yourself and understand your capabilities as an individual, you understand the things that you can do. It gives you confidence to fly, right? We also talked about how that, it makes for you to appreciate yourself more and stop getting, your self-esteem from what people say about you, other than, from your self-esteem to, be impacted from within. There are some persons who, they feel good about themselves only when people tell them, maybe something good about themselves. No, it shouldn't be that way. You need to know yourself enough to know that whether anybody says anything nice or not, this is who you are as an individual. All right, so you need to come to that point. That's what self-discovery does for you. It teaches you your abilities, and by knowing that ability that you have in yourself, it gives you confidence in yourself, whether somebody affirms you positively or negatively or not. All right, so we talked about that. We also talked about reflective journaling as to practical steps to self-discovery. And like I said, we gave that assignment. We talked about taking personality tests, and we talked about one site I recommended, and that's 16personalities.com. I said for you to understand yourself better, you can go and take those tests, and those tests are very, very important. You can check other sites also, but I recommend 16personalities.com a lot, because that's also a site that I used when I was starting out self-discovery. It just basically gives you insights, some of the things that you didn't even know about yourself. We're talking about your behaviors, we're talking about your strengths, areas you need growth. In fact, sometimes when you take the personality test, you are amazed at how correct it gets. Sometimes say, oh wow, this thing knows me so well. When you answer the questions rightly and they bring out the results, it makes you marvel. So take those tests. Look out for 16personalities.com and take a test. It's going to help you or help give you insights, about yourself. We talked about that. What we talked about also your values as an individual. We mentioned how that you have to have principles that guide you in life. It's not wherever the wave takes you, you move. No, you should stand for something and stand by something. When you have situations where things come up, those principles, those values, they serve as a guide, when you want to make decisions. For a person who maybe values honesty a lot, there are some crossroads you come to in life, and honesty is going to come in handy for you regardless of whatever it is at stake. You know why? Because as an individual, honesty is already a value for you, is already a guiding principle for you, right? So we talked about that, and we talked about how it is important to identify your core values as an individual. And then the last thing that we talked about last week was making sure that you get feedback. That's another way to also discover yourself, right? Making sure that you get feedback from trusted people around you that would tell you the truth about yourself, tell you what you're doing, what you're not doing well. You can start by asking questions like, because sometimes when you actually tell people to tell me what you hate about me, like But a lot of persons who really care about you might not be able to do that. They might feel like, oh, if they are telling you what they hate about you, they might crush your ego or something. But when you say something like, what are some ways that you feel that I can improve myself and it will help me do better in life, right? They can say, okay, this is what I want you to work on, or this is this, or this is just, and you see ideas starts coming out. So it's very important for you to like what ask the people around you, trusted people, trusted friends, family members, to give you feedback about yourself. Ask them, what do you think are my strengths? What are some places that I can improve? Things that I can improve. What do you think are the things that make me stand out? Sometimes people see you more than you even see yourself. Sometimes people recognize the potentials that we have more than we even recognize it. Do you understand? So it's very, very important to seek, you know, people's thoughts or opinions when we are trying to discover ourselves. And we also talked about how that is very important for you to be open to constructive criticism, because sometimes when we're getting feedbacks from people, something in us would want to fight that information. No, you don't fight it. You keep an open mind, and so that you would receive the information and know how to walk around it. All right, so that's just basically it. We talked about how that self-discovery is an ongoing process. You don't end it. You keep discovering yourself until you leave this earth. It's an endless journey to discovery. So you need to explore yourself. You need to uncover a lot of things, both your strengths, both your weaknesses, because on your journey to self-discovery, you're definitely going to see some things that you wouldn't like. So embrace it. I mean, that's who you are, and then look for ways that you can work around it. Look for ways that you can change it. All right. So that's just basically it. And like I was mentioning, I said that the reason why we started with self-discovery is because it's at the core of personal development. That's like the first thing to do. That's like the foundation of personal development. Because I mean, if you don't understand yourself first, how do you even start developing yourself? All right, so that's also another thing that we talked about. Let's move forward to our conversation for this evening. I hope that we're having fun. So far so good. We just did a little recap. All right, so in case you're just joining us, please, by all means, all right, click on the like button, subscribe, and share. Okay, so let's talk about today's uh, teaching. We're looking at personal development, the importance of personal development. Why does personal development matter? I'm going to start with a quote by Robin Sharma. And what the quote says is that investing in yourself is the best investment that you will ever make. All right. It says it will only improve your life. It will not only improve your life, right? Investing in yourself will not only improve your life, it will also improve the lives of, people around you, everybody around you. So this is something to really look into. People used to think that, personal investments don't really pay off, right? So you prefer to maybe invest in stocks, invest in crypto, invest in real estate and all of that. And you forget that no matter the proceeds that you make from outward investments, it is the inward investments that help you keep them, right? You know how they talk about how a poor person is going to remain poor no matter how much they assess, if they don't work on their mindset, if nothing happens to their mindset. So it makes that if you even give a poor person 10 million naira, somehow he's going to spend that 10 million naira until he returns back to being a poor person. So it's not even about the amount of money that the person has in hand or at hand. It's about the mind. Is about how they personally develop themselves. Hello Ultra Instinct, thank you for joining us. Right, it's about how the person personally develops themselves, develops their minds. All right. So it's something to really note, that improving yourself is the best investment that anybody can make. All right. So let's just keep that by the side. All right. So when we talk about personal development, we're looking at bettering yourself as an individual, making sure that you are a better person, right? That's how why we talked about self-development or self-discovery at first. And we talked about how that self-discovery is taking an inward journey on who you are and looking for things, to work on. So in your process of self-discovery, you're definitely going to find things that you need to work on. So it's in the process of personal development that you now begin to pick out those things that you discovered when you were going on a self-discovery journey, and then begin to work on them. So when we're looking at personal development and bettering your life, we're looking at both character development, because it has to be all round. Personal development has to be all round. You don't touch one side and leave one side, right? Personal development definitely has to be all round. So when we're talking about personal development, we're talking about your skills, right? Brushing some of the skills that you have, maybe that you came with that are innate, brushing them up, or maybe learning new skills and getting good at it. That's on one side. We're talking about character development, right? So in your process of self-discovery, you're going to realize that there are some character traits that you have that definitely will not help you in life, definitely will not help you make progress in life, no matter the kind of success you attain. It only takes character to keep you there or to bring you down. There are some persons who are great at doing something. They are very skillful, at doing something. But because they have a very smelly character, they find it difficult to retain jobs. They find it difficult to retain relationships. They find it difficult to relate with people. They find it difficult to excel, and probably even thrive in whatever industry they find themselves in. So character development is also another, personal development thingy that somebody has to undergo when you're personally developing yourself. All right, so this is just basically it. We're looking at your strengths also. What are some of the things that you're very good at? How can we develop it? All right, so all round development, understanding who you are, and what you're capable of. Hello, Olushi. Thank you so much for joining us, and making sure that you're continuously growing to be the best that you can be. Personal development does not tolerate mediocrity. For a person who is very, very key on personal development, you're very interested in personal development, and you're taking out time, you're investing in your development, you understand that mediocrity will be far away from you, because every other time you're learning, you're growing, you're becoming better, you're sharpening one thing or the other. Like wherever mediocrity is, nobody is going to see you there, and you understand how that for people who are mediocre, they don't make any significant impact in life, because they just remain average, and that's not who you want to be. All right, that's why personal development is really very important. So we're going to just move into, like, now that I've already started talking about why personal development is really very important. We talked about how that it makes sure that you don't remain a mediocre. Can work side by side. And last week also, when we're talking about self-discovery, we talked about how that it helps you boost confidence. So when you are already on a journey to personal development, you begin to know, right? You get wiser. That's one beautiful thing about personal development. You get wiser. You begin to know more. A lot of things that you did not know before. A lot of places that you were not able to go to before. A lot of people that on a normal day you wouldn't meet, just because you're on a personal development process and you're doing a lot of things to help improve yourself or personally develop yourself. You're entering into those places. You're meeting those people. You're assessing those kind of knowledge, right? So it boosts your confidence. It makes you very, very confident in yourself. So that's one beautiful thing. Then another thing also is that it brings meaning into your life. It just gives your life meaning. So in fact, when you started developing yourself, and maybe you had friends that you know were not really up to par, somehow they also begin to notice that something is changing in this person's life. It's either we match up, you know, to it, or we just leave the person alone. So you hear your friend saying something like, "Oh, you are doing too much. Every time you are reading, I beg," or maybe you're hearing something like, "You're always attending conferences. You don't even have time to maybe gist with us," or something like that. Do you understand the point I'm trying? So somehow personal development will just differentiate between somebody who is getting more serious about their life and improvement and somebody who is not. So that's another very important thing. It brings value, into your life. And another thing also, there's one thing about life and resilience. So for anybody who is going to like really move forward in life, you're going to have resilience. You're going to have the ability to withstand some of the things that life throws at you. And that's one thing personal development does for a person. For an average person, life can throw a thing or two at you, and you decide that, I'm going to give up, because you don't have information that says that things that happen in life come in season. Do you understand? It will pass. The times, seasons, it will pass. Nobody remains down forever. There's morning, there's afternoon, there's night. It keeps rotating. So seasons are definitely going to pass. You have to have that information to understand that, okay, you know what, this is a season that I just passed through now. This is a phase of life. I need to move. It's in your process of personal development that you understand that a person who doesn't take personal development seriously will not understand that. Do you understand? So it increases your ability to withstand whatever it is that life throws at you. Understand that this phase shall pass. Understand that I have to even work on myself. I have to learn from this phase so that when I get into the next phase, I will do better. All right. So yeah. It helps you to develop yourself emotionally. It helps you to develop yourself mentally. It helps you for people who are also spiritual people, like I am a child of God. Sorry, I can't help but be a child of God, right? So personal development in that area also is very key, all right? So it also helps your spirituality. It helps you tackle life challenges with enough information and strength, all right? So that's also another thing to look at. And the most important thing that personal development does for a person is that it opens you up to fantastic opportunities. Oh my God. Fantastic opportunity. I know what personal development has done for me. I know the quality of persons who are in my life just because I decided that I'm not going to be a lower version of myself. I'm going to be a higher version of myself. I'm going to come up hither, right? I know what personal development has done for me, the doors that it has opened to me. All right. So it's very, very important that you understand that the more you grow, the more doors will open for you, both for your career, both for relationships, both for purpose. Doors are definitely going to open for you. So these are the 4 things that I feel like personal development does for you. The first thing I talked about was that it boosts your confidence. The second thing that I talked about is that it makes your life more valuable, right? I talked about it increasing resilience also. That's another thing I talked about, helping you to be able to withstand whatever it is that life throws at you. And then I talked about, personal development being able to open opportunities, like doors and doors of opportunities for you. All right. In case you're just, joining us, please by all means just subscribe, share, and also drop a comment so that I would know that you're right there. So I think the next thing that we need to delve into is, what are some of the areas, when I talk about personal development, I used to always say that you cannot develop one part of you and leave the other. Personal development is holistic, it's all round, right? So we're going to touch several areas. Personal development is not limited. So we're going to talk about like the key areas that you need transformative growth. All right. So we're going to look at that. And the first area that I want to talk about, I'm looking at my notes because I prepared, right? So the first area is character. Hey, when I was talking earlier, I mentioned how that I've like there are some persons who God can open doors for, and you have fantastic job opportunities, and you have amazing skill, and you get there, and your character sends you back home. It is very possible. In fact, it has happened. Your character will just send you back to wherever it is that you're coming from, no matter the kind of skill that you have. So in personally developing yourself, you need to understand that I need to develop character. Character reflects on who you are. Your character reflects when you're interacting with people. Your character reflects on your morals. Your character will show. See, character is like pregnancy. It doesn't hide. You can want to like cover up first 2-3 months of knowing somebody. Before you know what is happening, your character will blow up in your face if you do not work on it. Some people will say, it's how I am in our house. That's how we are. Bro, for a person who has, a vision for their life, who knows that there's a future awaiting them, there are some character traits that you need to intentionally cut out. Just cut it out. And you know what I'm talking about. I don't even need to list the type of character trait. We know, there's a way that God has created people. Bad from good. That's just the truth. So there's no need telling you, if you have, what are even some of those bad character traits now? If you talk to people anyhow, you're just a loud mouth, and you talk to people anyhow. At any chance that you get, just open your mouth. Or don't do it. No, do it and see how far it's going to take you in life. Right? So those are some of the things that you can also cut off. Emotional intelligence is also very, very important. And we're looking at how do you manage your emotions in very tough situations. How do you manage your emotions when you're feeling some type of way? How do you talk to people when you are in a position that you're intense, like everything is just moving fast? How do you handle it? These are things that like people look out for, like in workplaces, when they want to probably give you a job. Maybe you're looking for a job, maybe you have a project you need to work on. Emotional intelligence is one thing that people really look out for. Is this person emotionally present? Is he emotionally aware of how to take care of things, how to react to people? Are you empathetic? Do you know how to put yourself in people's shoes? These are a lot of things that we need to look out for. All right. So I've talked about character development. Another place where you need personal development is your career. Career is another place where you need personal development. I've talked about what character is very important. Career, right? So when we're talking about career, we're talking about advancing in whatever it is that maybe God has led you to do. Maybe you're a broadcaster like I am. Maybe you're an engineer. That's like your career. You're building your skills. Whatever field you are in, like you are advancing, you're setting career goals and you are smashing them. That's another place to personally develop yourself. So when we're talking about personal development in career, we're talking about building skills that are relevant in your career. We're talking about advancing in your field, going from point A to point B. You're knowing that in my field, where I was last year is not where I am this year. You're aiming for director, you're aiming for this, you're aiming for that. You're just moving forward and you're doing, the as far as your career is career growth or career development, we cannot talk about career development without talking about two things. Number one, learning. And number two, networking. So I'm going to sit on the two of them differently. So we are at, a time where people are not so big on learning again. It's either you just scroll away your time on social media, or just maybe do one fun thing or the other because of how short the attention span is. But for a person who wants to develop in their career, whatever it is that your career is, you're going to have to keep learning. Right? You're going to look for people who are already ahead of you in that career, right? And learn from them. Have they written books? Do they have audios? Do they have videos? Their experiences will definitely teach you. So it's going to be continuous learning in whatever career that you find yourself in. Certifications, take courses, or certifications that are relevant to your field. There's Coursera, there's Udemy, whatever it is, whatever platform that works for you. Make sure that you're taking a course or two. Learning new skills, like what's learning new skills and taking courses does is that it increases your value. Getting certifications, it increases your value. It differentiates you from the rest of the other people who are not improving themselves, who are not making themselves valuable. Do you understand? Then the next thing is networking. Okay? For me, I'm a broadcaster. Like, that's like my profession. That's my career. I talk on radio, right? All of the jobs that I've ever gotten, right, is networking that got it for me. Networking. I've never, sent my CV to any online anything, any job. Maybe they posted something. Somebody is recommending me for something, and just because of networking, I'm getting an opportunity, and before you know what is happening, I'm landing myself a job. All right, so it's important. If you people are having industry events, make sure that you attend. If there's maybe an online group, if there's a platform, whatever it is, but just make sure that you are connecting. Make sure that in that your industry, there are people that you know. I said last week that you cannot do life alone. It's not possible. So there's no way you can do life alone. You need people. You cannot introvert your way out of this. No, you need people. You have to mingle, you have to connect, you have to network, right? That's the only way your light is going to shine. Okay, so that's the second part of our life that you have to, develop. And the next one is your health, right? They say health is wealth, right? So it makes that for a person who is even wealthy and does not have health, you know how much they spend trying to just be healthy. In fact, just the fact that you're ill, it takes a chunk of your wealth. All right. So for a person who wants to develop themselves, you have to take your health seriously. You have to take your body seriously, because it's your body that is doing all the work. You have to invest in your health, your well-being. The day that your body decides to shut down, there's nothing that you can do about it. Nothing. I have very fantastic friends, and my friends are all hard workers. I don't want to call their names, but my friends are hard workers. I have the ones that are animators. I have the ones that are into, digital products and, all of those things. And they are always working, always working. And sometimes I used to say, shut down. Sunshine, I'm busy doing this. I've been on my laptop all day. Shut down. Rest. Sleep. Eat well. Exercise. The day that you would need your body the most might be the day your body will shut down. Look at me. If you see my eyes, you will even know that this girl has been so like I've been since morning. I just came out from meeting my teenagers. Then I went to have another meeting, and then from that meeting, I'm in this meeting. When like my personal assistant like reminded me, I just screamed. I'm like, Jesus, because like I had a lot of things to do today, and I even forgot that I have a session at 9 p.m. If not that she reminded me, I would have just come back to my house. I'll just lie down on my bed and sleep off. I would not know that. Oh my God. I will not know that like I have something to do at night. So that's how stressed or how busy you can get, and a lot of things that you're supposed to do, you will not do them because I mean your body will just shut you down because you have stressed it out enough. Please make sure that even if it's simple exercise routines, like maybe if you're a person who can skip, if you can do all your jumping jacks, whatever it is, just make sure that you create a simple exercise routine for yourself and just do small exercise. When we talk about nutrition also, see, follow people like Aproko Doctor or some other health people, Dr. Zobo, go online and browse. What are some things that I can eat? I know that the economy is crazy, but you have to take care of your body. All right. I can't remember the last time I took anything that is processed. I can't remember the last time. And it's been helping me. I do more of water these days. If you can incorporate that into your life, by all means do. If you can take a lot of fruits, by all means do. Just make sure that you're doing things that would benefit your body so that your body will last you longer. No matter who you are, or no matter the skills that you have or the impacts that you want to make in life or whatever it is, the day that your body shuts down is the day that everything ends. I'm telling you, like I had to learn that the hard way. If something happens to you now, the way they will replace you in that your job, it will shock your spirit. Like your spirit will just be looking down from heaven and be wondering, what? These people just replaced me like that? So by all means, get enough sleep. Get enough sleep very well. Sleep very well is very, very important. For some of us who sleep late, like I have to be very stressed to sleep very early. So for some of us, we take our time in the mornings to sleep. If you sleep around 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. at night, just make sure you sleep into maybe 8 a.m., 9 a.m. in the morning. Whatever it is, just make sure that you're getting enough sleep. So we've talked about your health. That's another place to develop yourself, because, we started by saying that personal development is holistic, it's all around. You don't leave a part and do a part. So that's why we're mentioning, some of the places, in our lives that needs personal development. Another thing is your finance. Many of us want to make money in this life, but we don't know anything about finances. We don't like numbers. In fact, right from our mathematics days, that's when we started hating numbers. Our math teachers, we did not even used to like them in the first place. So because of all of that, it spilled into our financial lives. All right. So please, that's another place to also develop yourself, because I mean, managing your finance very well is very crucial to your personal development as an individual, because you know how it is that when you have money, it allows you to do several other things. It buys you time. I remember when I was in Kaduna, I was writing for this Canadian company. They do weddings. So I was writing about weddings, and all of that. I barely had time for myself. I just realized that, I've been taking a lot of junks and So I was asking myself, so how am I going to help myself? Like, oh, I'll just finish from radio, I'll come back to start working sometimes into the night, and then I was working morning shift on radio. I'll finish very late at night just to get some sleep. I'll have to wake up very early to go and start my morning show. It was a lot. I wasn't eating well. I had to ask myself, so what can you do? Guess what? It was my money. I had to employ somebody that will be making stuff for me during weekends and just pack it in my fridge so that a child of God will see what to eat. If you're not financially buoyant like that, you cannot do that. It will definitely be impacting on you. Do you understand? If you're not financially buoyant, you cannot buy courses, you cannot do certifications, like a lot of things that you need to do with more. You cannot treat yourself to good food, you know. So you cannot take yourself to a gym. There's so much that just being financially stable as an individual can do for you. There's so much that it can do for you. So that's another part of your life that needs development, right? And by doing that, you have to start learning about economics. How does the economy of the world work? When we talk about buying and selling, demand and supply, what does that mean? You know, what are some of, because for anybody to make money, you have to either sell something. It's either you're selling your services or you're selling a product, right? You ask yourself, what can I sell? Is it a service? Is it a product? What is the thing? How can some money leave somebody's pocket to enter mine? And it's not that I stole it. Right? So you set goals to that effect. You understand that for a person who is planning themselves financially, borrowing should not be, you know, something that you're very regular with. Like, you're a person who borrows regularly, you have a lot of debts that you're in. That shouldn't be you. So you cut down debts, you cut down on spending, you know, frivolously. You just cut down on a lot of things that are taking out money from your pocket. You understand investing, you know, invest. Like, I'm a person who is very big on investment, so very big. When I started investment newly, like, I know what it did for me. Just putting away money somewhere and just leaving it there, you know, it helps sometimes when maybe life just happens. You have something to fall back to, you know, than somebody who doesn't even have anything at all. And before you know what's happening, you now want to go and start borrowing, you know, and sometimes you borrow and it accumulates interest. And for some persons who borrow from all of these apps, you know, in a bid to, you know, get you to pay back the money, sometimes they even tarnish your image. That's a lot to take in. That's a lot to take in. So invest in financial education. Make sure that you're not borrowing. Make sure that you're budgeting. You know, so that's also very, very important. Then another thing is also relationships. That's in case you don't know, relationship is a currency. Sometimes what relationship can buy for you, your money might not even buy it for you. Relationship is a currency. So investing in building quality relationship, and it takes time. It takes time. Some people might not even open themselves up to you 1, 2, 3, 4 years down the line. They have to know that this person is my person. This person is loyal. This person is with me. We can work out something together. It's an investment, and you know, there's something I used to talk about, investing in people's emotional bank account, so that when the time comes you can withdraw. And relationship is one of, so you develop social skills, you understand the importance of building meaningful relationship, and you go ahead to build it. All right, so that's also another way, that's another thing that you can, you know, invest in, expanding your social circle. We talked about attending events, very important. We talked about, I've not mentioned volunteering. Volunteering is another one that is a big deal. All right, meeting new people, being able to say hi to somebody and ask, oh, how are you doing? You know, what do you do? Stuff like that. Just somehow you're going to meet somebody who aligns with your purpose and all of that, and You guys are going to like work out something, and before you know what is happening, your circle is expanding, and you do not know where somebody is going to come through for you tomorrow, or where you're going to come through for somebody tomorrow. So your relationships, are quite, an investment that you can make that will save you a lot in the future, right? So I don't want us to get to 1 hour today, so I'm just going to quickly be rounding up. So the next thing is your skill, your knowledge, your skill. That's another area of your life that you can develop, expanding your knowledge, honing your skill, whatever it is that is a skill that will benefit you, whether in career, whatever it is, or in business, lined up skills. You start improving on them one after the other. You start learning knowledge one after the other. You start learning. You take a course. I talked about taking a course earlier. It's very important. That's another thing. So identify either a skill or maybe a topic of interest. Could be something in tech. A lot of persons are delving into tech these days. Could be something in tech. Just pay attention to it and learn it. That's also another place to develop. And like I said earlier, there's no personal development without continuous learning. You are going to continuously improve yourself, continuously learn. There's no personal development without continuous learning. So understand that every day, take out time, read something. Sometimes my alarm will just ring, and it will just remind me, read something on UX writing, because I'm learning UX writing, right? I just go and browse something and read. It refreshes your memory, refreshes your mind every other day. All right. So do that. Keep challenging yourself. So that's also another place to invest yourself. And the last thing that I'm going to talk about, or the last area of our lives that needs development, is our appearance, the way that you dress. They say dress the way you want to be addressed. And you know how it is that your personal appearance impacts your confidence, how you carry yourself, how you see yourself. So if you're a person who doesn't, there's a difference, with being simple and just looking tattered. Okay, so you have to work on it. You have to work on how you look. It's very, 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 very important. That's also a part to develop. Find your style. Find your style. Find your style. Look for somebody on social media that's, has your body type and dresses nicely. Look at how they style themselves, explore what feels right. What are the colors that suit your skin? I was going to make something yesterday, and I had the person that was making it for me. We were just talking about colors. She mentioned one color. I said, can we go for ox blood? I was so proud of myself when it came out, and it looked so nice on my skin, right? So identify your colors, the styles that suit you, what makes you confident, what makes you beautiful. Dress properly, look good. It doesn't have to be expensive before you look good. Look good. Iron your the small one that you have, right? When you come out, dress excellently. All right, it will help me. I'm not so much of an everywhere person. I'm not out there with looks and all of that. But when I have to attend to something, you have to look the part too. All right, because dressing and looking good is also part of personal development. Okay, so that's just basically, I told you now that we're looking at all round, right? So I've talked about the areas of personal development. I've talked about your character. I've talked about your career development, very important. I've talked about your health, your physical health. We've talked about that. We've talked about your finance. That's another thing we talked about. And we talked about your relationships, investing in relationships, right? We talked about that. And we also talked about knowledge and skill development. That's another thing that we talked about. And we talked about your style. All right, your style. Find your style. start looking good. That's part of personal development. Is not only about skill, because every time that we talk about personal development, people just focus on skill, learning skill. It's holistic, it's all round. If one part suffers, you're not improving, you're not developing. It has to be holistic, all right? So we've talked about all of these things. So let's move to how do you start your personal development journey? How? So we've talked about several areas, right? And if you look at it very well, you know that these areas that we talked about, I mean, if you want to start developing all the areas, it's draining, it's a lot, it will take a lot from you. So the first thing that you need to ask yourself is, because you're taking it one at a time, you're going to have to set goals. You're going to start with either one or two areas that you need to focus on. Which one do you need to focus on now? Is it your career? Is it your health? Are you looking at yourself and you're saying that, oh, your health is deteriorating? And with what I said this night, oh, we need to start working on it. We need to start exercising. We need to start eating well. We need to do this. Like, which one do you want to pick? Do you just realize that, oh, my wardrobe is a mess, we need to work on it, all right? So you have to choose one. But are you not have you just realized that, oh, you need skill in a particular, maybe whatever it is your career is, you need to improve your skill, right? So you have to pick one area or two that you would like to focus on and work on it. Can be, like I said, can be career, can be health, whatever it is. And make sure that you set a specific goal, set a goal that is achievable. You decide that, okay, I'm going to be doing 10 push-ups in the morning. Don't tell yourself I'll do 50 push-ups, and you know that you have not even done 3 push-ups before. It's not realistic enough. Make it realistic so that your brain will understand that, okay, we can work around this thing. This thing is something that is doable, all right? So that's it. Create an action plan. And when you also set these goals, make sure that you set it in tiny bits. There's a way that your body responds. There's a feel good hormone that your body releases when you're able to set a goal and achieve it. So if you set tinier goals and you're achieving it, it makes it possible for you to achieve more goals. Do you understand the point I'm trying to make? Exactly. So break those goals down into very tiny actionable steps and focus on it. If you're a person who is focusing on your financial management and you have a lot of debt, you have to sit with yourself and ask yourself, so how much am I supposed to pay this person back? How can I break it into little amounts and begin to pay it off? You set tiny, actionable steps. If I'm going to be paying 10,000 naira to pay this debt off, can it be feasible? Can it be achievable? Or should I reduce it to 5,000? Whatever happens, just make sure that you're setting very actionable goals. Do you understand? It's very, very important. And also start tracking. So you don't just start doing things and no, pay attention to whatever it is that you're doing. Track the progress. Okay, I'm doing personal development and I'm focusing on my finances and I'm trying to pay up debts, right? And this month I've been paying out like 5,000 or 10,000. How far have I come? How is this thing affecting my the money in my bank account, my finances? All right, now that I'm taking out a lot of money, are there things that I can do to also bring in money? Are there extra things that I can do to also improve my finances? You're asking yourself questions, you're tracking it, you're doing stuff, right? Another thing is also to hold yourself accountable. You can hold yourself accountable in several ways. It's either you do it by yourself, which sometimes it ends up in a disaster, right? And I'm speaking for myself. Sometimes when I want to hold myself accountable on stuff, it doesn't work. Depending on what it is, I have to tell somebody that, please, this is what I want to do. Keep me on my toes. And I have friends that will always remind me, Sunshine, you said you're going to do this project. So Sunshine, you said you're going to do that project. Have you done it? Have you not done it? All right. So make sure that you share this thing that you want to do, this area of development that you want to delve into with a friend that is going to keep you accountable, or a brother, a sister, whoever. It helps you stay focused. It brings you back on track, even when you feel like you can't do it again and things get challenging. All right. So I said I didn't want to get into 1 hour. So just like I mentioned earlier, personal development is a lifelong investment and it is needed. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to continuously, try to become the best version of yourself. You're better today than you were yesterday. You're growing gradually. You're developing that version of yourself that you want gradually, consistently, right? So, and you need to also understand that personal growth, just like I said, just like the name implies, personal growth is personal, all right, and is unique to you. You don't use another person's growth to judge your own growth. Oh, this person is growing in this kind of way and I am not. Don't do that to yourself. It's okay to admire people's growth, admire people's journey, but understand that your path is different. You stick to it, you work hard, and you begin to see changes. All right. So one step at a time. That's one thing I usually say. One step at a time. So if you're able to incorporate all of these things that we have talked about this evening, right, it's definitely going to help you in ways that you would really appreciate. So let's just do a little recap. We started by talking about how that investing in yourself is the best investment that you will ever make, and how that is not even only about you. It doesn't only impact you, it also impacts people around you. We talked about how personal development boosts your confidence, how it brings value to your life, how it increases, your resilience, the way that you take in the things that life throws at you. We talked about how that it brings, or it opens you up to new opportunities. And when we're talking about the areas where a person needs to develop themselves, because personal development is holistic, we talked about your character, very, very important. We talked about career development. We talked about your health, developing your health. We talked about financial management. We talked about relationships, very vital. I talked about how there are some things that relationship can buy for you that your money can't even pay for, right? We talked about developing yourself both in knowledge and in skills. And then we talked about your style, how you dress, how you look. All right. And then we rounded up by saying that anytime you want to start out a personal development journey, you have to pick either 2 areas to start with, so that you would focus on it. You create a plan of action, you break them down into actionable steps. If you're focusing on financial management, like I used, for example, you're asking yourself, are there bills I need to pay? How do I break them down, and start paying those bills? I talked about tracking your progress, and also I talked about holding yourself accountable, and by extension, also getting people to hold you accountable for the things that you're doing to better yourself and grow in the area of your life that you're focusing on. All right, so these are the things that we talked about today, and I just genuinely hope that we learned a thing or two. Okay, so we have a community. It's a growth community that I am building. It's still in the building process, and if you want to join our growth communities, by all means just reach out to us. You can even text us, right, on the comment section or something, so that we can send you the link to our Telegram community, and you can also drop your email with us so that you'll be receiving some of our recaps and all of that. You can follow me on social media and also chat me up at Sunshine Chikis. You just chat me up and tell me, oh, I joined your growth session and I want to be part of the community. It's a very little community that is growing. What I want to do with the community is amazing, but we're in our growth stage. All right, so it's just a community where people who are intentional about growth come together to learn and to better themselves, and also to hold themselves accountable to the journey of growth that they are embarking on. All right, so I just hope that you had a fantastic time. As usual, I'm going to do a recap of this teaching and I'm going to send it to your email. Last week we lost our video, but I don't think we're going to lose this one. So you can always come back to come and learn. All right, so I hope that we had a great time. Thank you so much. So if you're watching me right now and maybe you had a great time, please tell me who is still here, because we're rounding up, so that I'll say hi to you before I round up. Thank you so much, Ultra Instinct. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Oluchi. I appreciate you. Thank you, the best of me. I appreciate you for being here. All right, it's 1 hour already, and we have to end this live session. We're going to continue again next week, Saturday at 9 p.m. All right. Thank you and bye.